everyone, Amanda here. I thought I'd come on and share my first ever vintage junk journal. I've made this just for fun, and it's just for me, and it's just a little bit of an outlet from my normal working kind of crafting, which obviously, you know, is Stampin' Up. But I do love shabby chic and I love vintage, so I thought I'm going to make one. I'm going to do it, and I've done it. So the covers measure about 4 and a quarter? I don't know. I've made it. It's 6.5 by 4 and a quarter. I've not made it to a specific size or for a specific reason. I just made it and then made everything to fit. So it is a chipboard cover. I've done the 3-stitch pamphlet stitching. It's not terribly straight and lined up. I think the next one I do may well hide that, but I've done it and it's tight and all the pages are held in. I've done 3 separate signatures because my pages were quite bulky, so to lay them all just do the one they just wouldn't have sat right, so I've had to do 3. So we've got a seam binding closure here, and I've used some little eyelets. I would have preferred to use bronze coloured, you know, that looks like rusty, but can I find them? They're in this crafts room somewhere, but can I find them? No. So I've used the Madame Perrault paper throughout, and then just stamping. So it's all just fussy cut from the Madame Perrault paper, which you can't get anymore. It's an old one that I've hoarded. It's not, I don't think it's for sale anywhere anymore, but I did cleverly hoard 3 packets. So as I say, I've constructed all of the pages just from scrapbooking paper and cardstock, and I've made everything by hand. None of it's digital images or anything like that. I've done everything myself. So the first page here, we've just got scrapbooking paper. I've added bits of lace. I've blown the dust and the cobwebs off my sewing machine, and then I made this little pocket here. And the seam binding here, as you can see, is free moving. You could remove it. And so in here we've just got a little tag, and they're all just cutouts from the paper pad. So that ties back in, and this is just a cream seam binding that I've had in my stash for centuries. I've had a really good fun making this. So then the next page, again we've got scrapbooking paper. I've made this little tuck spot, and this is from a small, I think they're meant to be like money wallet envelopes, and it's just from craft. I use them a lot, and I just sealed it shut, cut the top off, and punched a thumbprint, and I stuck it down so that you can stick things down the back or inside. Okay, just cutouts, mini paper clips. And then I've just decorated the front of that with just cutouts from the paper line. That's a bit of washi tape, that's fussy cutting. This I've stamped, inking, just making it look vintage. And then this page here again, it's just the paper line, made a little tag. I've used the circle tab punch there to make some little pull-outs. And then I've added a bit of a doiler, and that is actually a tuck spot as well. And then here I did add one of the eyelets here because I wanted to dangle a charm, but it went a bit wrong. So what I did was I pulled it off and I did another. The corner was all ripped, so I've just tied a bit of seam binding, you know. So there's a few mistakes, but I've managed to make it part of the journal, if you know what I mean. So here's another, this is actually Botanical Tea, I think it's called, which is a very old paper line, and I just had literally 2 pieces of it. So I've used that up. This is Fussy Cut from the Madame Perrault, and she's a domestic fairy, and she's also a tuck spot there as well. And then here we've got this little flap that I've just stapled on so you can tuck things, and we've got this Pretend Check, which is a cutout, little paper clip. I've also sewn zigzag stitching down the edge, little tab, and a bit of stamping there. And then this page here, underneath here we've got various stamping. I was just having a play. We've got the circle tab punch showing from the other side. This is all stenciling, just some paper that I've just ripped from a notebook and made it look a bit vintage. Just a little bit of a banner, and then some more from the paper line, which I stapled at the same time as I stapled that. I made sure there was one on the other side. And then this page here is just a bit of, I've just stuck down elements that I've cut. And here you can see my centre stitching. I just tied it in a knot. Don't bother me that you can see it. And I actually used a linen thread. I used this to sew it together, which has worked really lovely. I'll need to get some decent thread for the next one that I do. And then here on this blue page I found this lace with the lovely blue flowers, so I've sewn that on. We've got just some cutouts, and then this is a little tuck spot that I made just from DSP. Used my pinking shears, did some inking. It was meant to look a bit like a postage stamp, didn't quite work, but I still like it. And then this little butterfly here is cut from the same paper. And then here I've just added some more paper from the notepad, folded it over to make a little tuck spot, and then this is a script stamp that I've got, bit of lace. Next one here, this is actually cardstock. It's the back of there. I was sticking some of the DSP onto cardstock, and this page I've just made it up by using a ruler and a pencil to make those lines for writing on. And then we've got some inking, and these splatters and these little rings is a stamp, bit of washi tape and some fussy cutting. And then this page here is stamping. It's the back side of some DSP. This is stamping and inking. And then I made this little vellum pocket here. And I didn't ink it or stamp it. I wanted it to be clear so you could see through. And I've stitched it to the page, and then when I was folding it over I just added an eyelet. I thought you could add a charm, or I don't know. I was going to put seam binding and I didn't get around to it. And then I just made this little tag out of scraps. That's craft cardstock, a scrap of DSP and then some vellum. Stitched it together, cut it into shape with my scissors, added an eyelet and some seam binding. So I've just basically made stuff up as I've gone along. I've left these free. You can see that my lining up's not brilliant there because you can actually see the spine there, but I'll get better. I think I need to adjust my spacing, and I left these free. You could write on in black pen, or you could stick things or pin things to it. And then this page here, I've used some seam binding and I created a pocket out of vellum, and again I've done it so that the seam binding's free moving. You could take it off if you want. And I just stitched a pocket. I just got some vellum. I literally just folded it over, folded a flap. There is a little thumbprint cut out there that I've used a circle punch, and then I just sewed all the way around with my sewing machine. A little bit of inking, but not much. And I just thought that was cute because if you put your little tickets or whatever in there, then you will be able to see them. If I'd have thought on, I might have done it so that you could tuck behind there as well. Just a little bit of paper from the little notepad that I've been using. Stamping. This is actually stuck on because I put something on and then I didn't like it, so I just cut some more DSP and stuck it on. And this is plain paper, and then I've just stamped script all over to make it look like it's a letter. And then this is a little cutout. I've inked it. Here we've got a doily, which I have actually sewn onto this piece of note paper here, and then added a little tab. This one again is just DSP. I've done a little, just a little triangle really, and glued it and stamped it, and then I made some little tags. That one's been sewn, and the other two are just done with a stapler. And I just go in there. And then this paper I just left as it was because it was so pretty with all the writing. And then I found this beautiful like ivory coloured lace, and again I've left it quite, you know, I've not inked it or darkened it because I like the contrast of that against there. And then I've got my centre stitch in here, and I've just added a little like bronzy brassy looking set of wings to that, so that's nice. We've got another page, we've got more, the other side to the note paper, the other side to the doily. I've left that quite plain. And then here I've done some fussy cutting, turned it into a tuck spot, and again using up scraps of vellum and DSP. A bit more stamping, note paper, that's just the beautiful paper. And again there, and then here I've done some more sewing. I've been playing with my sewing machine, I've had awesome fun. And that's just the DSP, but I've sewn all the way around there in zigzag stitching, just had a bit of interest. Left that just plain note paper. And then here I have got another small like money wallet envelope, and I've stitched along the bottom, and then I've turned it into a tuck spot, but you can also put things inside as well if you so desire. That does fit, I think it does. It did fit. It does fit. It does fit. There you go. So you could have it tucked in there like that, or you can have it tucked behind, and this is just note paper literally stapled together. It's nothing fancy. Okay. Let me just get that tucked in there right. There we go. So here I've distressed the edge of that. I think what happened there actually was I sewed some lace to it and then I didn't like it, so I pulled it off, and then it left this quite cool effect, so I just left it. I've had real fun making this. More of the lovely paper, and then here I've got a centre spread, so I've added some little note paper and I've sewn some lace, and then this is just note paper. I've added a little corrugated decoration and a button that I had in my collection, and then it just opens like that, and it's just paper, so you can write on it, but then you can fold it back and it just tucks shut. What we've got here, just more writing paper, and here we've got the back end of that small envelope again, which you can put things inside or use as a tuck spot. We've got more journaling space and more. And then this is the back cover. So that's it, and it's nice and sturdy. It's not over thick. I've not done billions of pages because I don't think I'm going to be making my journals full of coffee dyed paper. I don't think, me personally, it's not for me. Mine are going to be, I have bought a digital kit, but I think mine are going to be more decorative and to look at and tucks and tags than pages and pages of coffee dyed paper. The main reason being I don't have time for it. I don't have time to be putting food in my oven, never mind paper. So there you go, hope you like it. That is my very first ever, so I am already cracking on with the next one, and as I get better and if I come up with any new ideas I might come on and do tutorials. I don't know, it's just a little bit of fun for me. It's not anything serious, but I really enjoyed that. So I thought I'd share that with you because people have been asking, and I'll show you the next one when that's done. Thanks for watching. Bye.